We welcome to the stage Eric Papp.
I work with organizations that want to increase effectiveness so that they can experience continual growth.
Guys, this is not like TV, okay? I can see you, all right? So this works a lot better when you what? Participate, right?
And that's really what I wanted to give you today is by the end of the 45 minutes, when you walk out today, you not only have strategies, but you have an increase in confidence on your level and you're able to deal with change. That you truly become, bless you, what this conference says is the architects of change. It not only becomes a theme, but it just becomes your way of life. And we live in a world that we have so much information coming at us nonstop, right? On our smartphones, everywhere. We're inundated with information. It's almost kind of like we've been drunk on information, but yet we're starving for the wisdom. In a complex, challenging, competitive marketplace that we live in, it's finding the vital few amongst the trivial many.
So that gets us to the fallacy of doing, where we have these false beliefs come inside of our head. We feel and we believe the more I do, the more I'm worth. Or I feel guilty when I'm not doing something. But the problem though that we run into though, is the busier I become, the less I what? The less I think. Excellent. So it's not about so much putting in the hours as it is what's the output, the impact and the value. The 3 habits of productivity. Plan, prioritize, and protect your time. We have to get realistic expectations. That's one of the biggest things in terms of planning. We have unrealistic expectations. And then we feel like we're not good enough. Our confidence takes a hit. And the one thing that you have to protect as a knowledge worker in the age that we're in right now is your confidence. Because if your confidence takes a hit, your work starts to show for it.
The abdication of accountability. So on this team, this manager is not holding the team accountable for their performance. He's not having honest conversation. That's where the first value comes in, honesty. And so what's happening is good employees are getting punished with more work and less time. Bad employees get rewarded with less work and more time. And responsibility can either be viewed in 2 lights. If you look it up in the dictionary, it can either be viewed as blame, guilt, liability, or power, influence, and control. And the way in which responsibility is seen by the employees is set by the context, is set by the leaders. If you have leaders in an organization that are deflecting and not taking responsibility, then what happens? It trickles right on down. When we view failure, we internalize it. Don't internalize it. Right? Because when you let go of internalizing, then it lets go of this emotional headlock that it's got on you. Then you free yourself from that because you're able to emotionalize the change and then it has no power over you.
Everything in life takes courage. What's my definition of courage? Courage is taking action even though you're what? Scared. When something comes on our desk and it's new, then it can bring up uncertainty or fear. And I've got 2 choices. One is I can take courage, or the second thing is I can procrastinate.
You ever wonder how salespeople spend their time? What I want to share with you today, the sales time system, it's what I created and it's what I personally use. I don't have the time to make sales calls. I don't have the time to do business development. I don't have the time to do prospecting. And guys, by the way, nobody defaults to making sales calls. I think one of the big things that as sales professionals, what cripples us is this self-delusion, this thing that we think that we're doing more in regards to prospecting and business development than we actually are.
May you have gratitude for your past. May you have joy for your present. And may you have hope in your future. My name is Eric Papp. Thank you guys.
If you like what you have seen, I'd love to talk to you.
The big idea today is manage promises, not what? Not people. Because I think really with the key ingredients of leadership, of being able to manage a promise and not a person, and to navigate all the changing complexity is what? We have to have patience. But also the change starts where? Internally. It starts with how we process and how we think, how we look at something. Because how we look at something determines our interaction with that. A lot of times we think of like conflict as all bad. No, if you don't have the healthy kind, then you most assuredly have unhealthy conflict. Managed promises, not people, helps promote what? Healthy conflict. And this is called the what? Gossiping. Gossiping, right? 4th grade girls do it, 40-year-old men do it.
And I've got two choices. One is I can take courage, or the second thing is I can procrastinate. Courage is taking action even though you're what? Scared.
Coaching conversations don't happen in the workplace is because a manager just doesn't want to have that emotional, perceived level of exertion. They don't even want to what? Touch. When we have a change, we start to have what? Confusion. We start to have some level of confusion because what it does is it upsets our what? Our routine. We're complaining about it, but yet we're not being courageous and really maybe having those tough conversations, or we're not being courageous enough to meet the change head on. And know this, that it's not natural and that it is tough. The second phase of a change is contemplation. How we view change determines the level of what? Our action, our resiliency, our creativity. And when you get emotionally charged by something, I call it being emotionally hijacked. That's where 50% of your brain will shut down because you can't even think straight. Just like being on the monkey bars. I've got to actually let go to advance. So it's very counter what? Intuitive. I've got to actually let go to grab on, let go to grab on, let go to grab on so that I can advance towards my objective. I have to let go of, oh, this is the way we used to do. I have to start letting that stuff go so I can advance to my objective. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Change is external though, but transition is what? Internal. By the end of the 45 minutes, when you walk out today, you not only have strategies, but you have an increase in confidence on your level and you're able to deal with change. That you truly become what this conference says is the architects of change. It not only becomes a theme, but it just becomes your way of life. But also the change starts where? Internally. It starts with how we process and how we think, how we look at something. Because how we look at something determines our interaction with that. Two things that you have to protect when you're going through any type of major change. When you're going through a merger, you're going through some uncertainty at work, whatever the case may be, and I want you to write this down and remember this, is you've got to protect your confidence and your gratitude. Is just come up with 5 questions perhaps, maybe 5 questions that you're really wrestling with about your situation. Maybe you are in that position where your company, you're going through that merger like I was talking about earlier. Okay? Write down the questions that are important to you. Don't try to get the answer just yet. A lot of times we want the answer. You know, give me the, no, I just want you to just start to reflect. You have a creative intelligence inside you that's so powerful. When we go through some type of change, and it's a significant change perhaps, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's financial, maybe it's work, there's some confusion there. There's maybe even possibly some self-doubt. And we're gonna get to that in terms of how to reframe failure, because that's a very important thing. When people go through change, they tend to beat themselves what? Up. Even the days of the week have a hard time going through change. You know that? Even the days of the week, because there's Monday, Tuesday, and then what follows that is WTF. The second phase of a change is contemplation, is to contemplate, is to think. And we can either think in 2 realms. One is we can think above the line, which I have the line there, right? It causes us to be courageous. It causes us to complete things. When we complete things, we then are able to what? I'm able to what? I'm able to let go. And oftentimes they can't create something when a majority of their folks are still holding on to the what? To the past. So how we view the change in our life, how we view change determines the level of what? Our action, our resiliency, our creativity. So my perspective determines my action. My action then gives me my what? My performance. And a big part of resiliency is being able to reframe what? Failure, right? Being able to reframe failure. I'm just saying, this is how we view failure. When we view failure, we internalize it. Don't internalize it, right? Because when you let go of internalizing, then it lets go of this emotional headlock that it's got on you. Then you free yourself from that because you're able to emotionalize the change, and then it has no power over you. As momentum precedes clarity. So as we start down that path, then we'll start to figure it out. Oh, and then I can also change this and this and this. And then we start to move. So then we're more, so I want you to focus, we're focused more so on our progress than we are on the what? On the goal. I have to let go of feelings of, oh, this was comfortable. I have to let go of, oh, this is the way we used to do. I have to start letting that stuff go so I can advance to my objective. Change is inevitable.
Growth is optional.
We're going to be talking about taking bold action and what that means for you and your situation, and how you can do it on a daily basis and get incredible results, even regardless of what's going on in our external circumstances. As we're into it now, I want you to have a pen and a paper. So I need you to have something to write with. If you have a pencil, that's okay. You can have a pencil. If we're a news junkie and we're reading a lot of things in the news or watching the news and it's causing our anxiety to go up or it's causing us to worry a lot, well, it gives us something to do, but it's not really getting us anywhere. We're gonna be able to receive a postcard from me, and it's my number one tip on procrastination. That'll become via the mail, snail mail, but that'll be coming up, so you gotta stay tuned. This is how I take small doses of courage and stay focused and not procrastinate, because sometimes I can get very off base as well. Squirrel. I call this my focus question. It keeps you focused, because a lot of times we all are inventing things to do to avoid the important. We're like, oh yeah, well, I got to go change out the laundry. Oh yeah, well, I think somebody just knocked on the door. Oh, that's the Amazon guy. I got to go get that package so nobody else takes it. It's the way they're looking at things. It's because they're just constantly past-based. They're trying to drive their car with that little rearview mirror. Whoa, a person that's future-based, that's a person, man, that's got the whole windshield there. Look at all the possibilities. The possibilities are endless. So that's a person that's very future-oriented and looking at their future. Before we get to the 3 habits of effectiveness, I want to go to a commercial break. And this commercial is for I believe it's for a coffee, something to do with bold, because this is a taking bold action. I don't know, but let's take a look at this commercial break.
Hi, my name is Marty Young, and I hear you're taking bold action. When I need to take bold action, I need a bold cup of coffee. Can't have a light roast or a mocha chocolate. I need bold, and that's why I drink Pacific Bold, a Kirkland signature brand, found at your local Costco retailer. Now that's bold.
Wow, that guy just looks a little bit too familiar. Let me go just get to that knock at the door. I'll be right back. You're not gonna wanna miss this. We're gonna talk about the 3 habits of effectiveness. Hey, welcome back. I just had that knock at the door. I'm actually wearing my jersey. I understand that it's, Jersey night is a big part of the conference. And so I wanted to show my support in that. You write down what were your accomplishments from last week. You check in with the present. You write down your main 3 priorities for this week, and there can only be 3. Okay, we always like to add something on. And then you write down your objective and key results. And this is a process of goal planning. The objective is what you want to accomplish. The key results is how you get it done. My top 5 observations in quarantine. Observation number 1 in quarantine, I guess you could say, is my hair follicles have really rejuvenated. And just there's no barbershops that are open or that I feel comfortable going in yet. So my hair has come back. Be kind first, be right later. In the XY graph, you can see there's 2 choices. There's one, a choice to understand, and then there's a choice to be kind. And you'll see the 0, which is low, the 10, which is high. And when we choose to understand and when we choose to be kind, we have the ability to connect with other people. They did see me put that wig on. Okay, gotta learn that for next time. All right, so my wish for you is actually 3 things, and that is this. May you have gratitude for your past. May you find the joy in your present, and you have hope for your future. All the best.